APS family, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hey. So to achieve this look, this is the tracks that we will be using and the braiding hair that we're going to be using for today's hairstyle. Part the hair from ear to ear, and then in the back, this is where we're going to lay the tracks. So your first section is going to be how we're going to lay down our braid pattern. So for the braid pattern, we're just going to connect the braids to the next braid, and every braid is going to be connected all the way until you get to the half of the head, and then pause there and then start from the other side of the head. Do the same thing until all the braids connect, and then you will have that braid pattern. So here I'm just going to braid it all the way down, and then when I start my next cone roll going down, I'm going to make sure that I connect that braid and I continue to braid all the way down. So moving on to the opposite side of the head, we're going to do the same thing, and then we're going to meet in the middle. So that last middle braid is going to connect both braids on both sides of the head, and this will create one single braid. So that's how we're going to complete the braid pattern in the back of the head for the sew-in. And of course I will have everything linked down below, so go ahead and check out the description box so you guys can see everything that I used, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. So now that we have our one braid in the back, you're going to go ahead and sew that one braid up into the braid so we can just get it up and out of the way and get it ready for our sew-in. So I do cut my tracks. I'm going to measure the back of the head first and then cut the tracks according to the length, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew, and I'm going to continue to do that all the way until I get to the top of the head. So now at the top of the head, she wanted the tribal braids, so we're just going to do some designs up in the front of the head. So with every braid that you do, make sure that you clean those parts up. I go in with my braiding jam and I use that against my parts, and then I clean those up. And then I use the back of the comb to make those stitch braid parts. I didn't show it in the video, but I was constantly using the back of my comb to make those crisp parts to make it like that stitch braid look. And then of course continue to add your hair like as you would normally do and continue your braid. So for this look, we just did 3 stitch braids going straight down, and then we're going to move on to a more complex design up top. Oh, I forgot to mention, make sure that you pull out the baby hairs if they are requesting for the baby hairs before you even start to do your braids. Now moving on to the other section, this is where we're going to do our designs. And make sure every part that you're doing, that you're cleaning up your parts with the braiding jam and reparting that. So once you have that section, we're going to divide that section in half, and then we're going to put that over to the side to start our crisscross braid. To start, divide that first section in half like so, and then of course we're going to make the stitch braid with everything that we do, and we're adding in the fake hair as we go. So you're going to braid until you reach to that halfway point, then you're going to put that to the side. Now part another section, and this is how we're going to connect both braids. You're going to divide that like how you did with the first section, and then you're going to connect that first top braid with the second back braid. So once you do that, when you get to the other side, you're just going to continue to do the same thing, and that's how you create that crisscross design. So once you finish that design, we're going to part the hair in the middle. Then we're going to clip away the hair, and this is creating another design. So it's kind of like an L-shaped design. So continue to do the same thing and do the stitch braid design using the back of your comb to get those clean parts, and then just add your hair and go. For your last braid, we're just going to braid that going straight back. So now one side of the head is done. You're just going to create the same designs on the other side of the head. So for the back of the head, we're going to use our crochet needle, and we're going to pull the hair through and over, and this is going to cover up the tracks. So she wanted curly ends, so I'm going to use my flexi rods and we're going to curl the ends of the braids just so everything blends in and it's that curly texture like her weave out in the back. And of course, I always have to go in with my mousse at the end of every hairstyle, and this is just going to seal it and make sure there's no flyaways and give you that fresh look. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.